Okay, we're back, and the advisor's just left. As I say, it's a bit sluggish if I'm recording on a scene like that, so I thought I'd leave it. Okay, so now we've got the player and Alex in a enclosed environment, and you know, you're in a room. You've got a locked door that you weren't able to get through, or an exit. Now, there's lots of mods I see which have locked doors that don't have the combined door lock on. The combined door lock is a very, very clear indication to the player that, you know, there is absolutely no way of getting through that door. What's nice is you can have that then as a feeder door for any combined forces, so that basically you can bring them in whenever you're ready. So you can just blow that door lock and go from there. And it's quite easy to do. It's kind of just a time sprite with the sound. So this battle is quite cool and actually quite difficult. So they've kind of arranged themselves out there ready to go. And what you'll see here is, coming back to my point I made on my other video, you have short range, the shotgun, medium range, the SMG, and at long range you see we've got the AR-2. And they've also brought along a hunter just to keep them on the toes as well. But the point is that each of these NPCs is like a chess piece. It has a specific purpose. So if you think about chess pieces, you know, the bishop can only move in a diagonal fashion. The queen is obviously can move in all directions as far as she wants. Pawns can only move one square forwards. All of them have different functions and different abilities, and by combining those abilities together is how you create challenge. And so here, just because these are all combined soldiers, the weapon that they have gives them a different purpose, and they're a different piece on the game board. And by combining those pieces together in different combinations, you can create lots of different interesting challenges and create more challenge. So one thing we do see, and I've talked about this a lot I think on other videos, is the concept of, I'm going to pause this for a second, is the concept of using using too many combined soldiers to create challenge. The problem is that too many combined soldiers, you know, I mean, obviously you can throw 10 combined soldiers with SMGs at the player, and most players are quite good now, and if they've got the shotgun they can sort of strafe circle around them, pick up virtually no damage, and shoot them all. That just creates a longer sort of bit of combat. It doesn't make it any more challenging or any more interesting. To make it challenging, or to me, I think you should be trying to get as much gameplay out of each combined soldier. But to do that, the best thing to do is to, as I say, combine them into different squads of different types, and that really gives the player a challenge because they have to use different tactics for each of those different types of soldiers, and so they're having to constantly swap out their tactics depending on which particular soldier of the group is engaging with them. Anyway, it's just some ideas. So the next section is something that I'm very fond of, and isn't something that we really had in Half-Life 2. It's something they added here, which is a sort of a more pursuit style. I mean, obviously we had it actually with the airboat and the helicopter. Obviously that's where the helicopter came first in, so they're bringing that back in again. But with the car we didn't really have a pursuit type situation. I think the helicopter, obviously the gunship is another one that you could use, but I think it's just fun, really. I mean, I think there's not a huge amount of challenge to this bit, but it really is cinematic and it's really good fun. And I'm not sure the chopper's really designed to do that much damage until you get it into that kind of combat space. Killing zombies with the car is fantastic fun. And there's something, I've said it before in other mods, about torturing zombies that is very, very satisfying for the players. I like this because you've got these fast zombies running along the tops of the roof. And and here, you know, we're sort of adding more interesting challenge here by having the player dodge things. So I think, obviously driving along a straight line we already established, or driving directly into the back of the train is fun, but obviously adding challenge along the way is the main thing, and just driving through an environment isn't particularly interesting. So we've sort of done the driving through an environment bit at the beginning to get used to it, and now pretty much every single section that we drive through is going to have a particular function or reason. And I think you can almost sort of count in seconds between the next thing to interact with in the driving sections of this game. In fact, you probably do it for all the game, but and I think it's a really good thing to think about in your map is if you're building a level is think about how many seconds there are between one thing to interact with or one thing for the player to do versus another. Everyone likes the telegraph jumps, they're great, and having Alex telegraph it as well, it really makes it clear what you're supposed to do. You see, that was kind of fun because the zombie bit is great because they do one thing and then they say, haha, that was fun, wasn't it? Do it again, and they kind of gives you a twist on the second time round. And so I've got a weird skin for zombies on my game for some reason. They've got this luminous thing going on. It's not very fun. I think I was just playing around with it one day and I've lost where that skin is actually sitting and causing the zombies to shock like that. But anyway, so the players sort of constantly being asked to stay on their toes, and
oh crap! We may have to ditch the car.
There we go, and now we're into the into the next section of gameplay. I think what's really cool about that is that you're sort of you're hurtling along at top speed, and they have you kind of career through a thing and then slam into a wall, and you go from sort of 100 miles an hour to nothing into kind of a once again like a decompression zone between two different types of gameplay.
It's not safe here. If you want to start chipping away at that chopper, I'll poke around and see if I can find any med kits.
Okay, thanks, Alex. And then we're into our chopper fight. So that was interesting. So as we dropped down, it had a like a chopper bomb, and a couple of them. And there's one there that isn't detonated yet. You can pick it up and play with it, and it starts to go, and you can get rid of it. And that's a really good training, piece of player training that they understand how then to manipulate these bombs, because we haven't seen them before. This is the first time we've really encountered them, apart from when they're throwing them at the car. So it's really important to understand it's a physics object. You can pick it up and you can throw it around, and it will detonate after a certain amount of time. This fight is I'm not sure how I feel about these. We've seen them quite a lot. I've seen them done well, and I've seen them done badly. The height of the chopper is key, as well as the the sort of the turning circle, or the amount of space it has to move around. If you get this, I've seen it on several maps, on bridges and stuff like that, which are great, and they're all fantastically done, but at the same time, the chopper's too far away, and you can't land a hit, even, it shouldn't be that hard to land a hit, is the point. Wow, that was 2 hits on that time. I must have this on easy. That's cheeky. Anyway, but this is an educational thing, so that's fine. I really like this as well. The other thing is, Alex can perform multiple, different functions. We've seen her in Freeman Pontifex earlier on, where she's acting as a sniper. Here, she's handing out health. So if you wanted to, you can use it for that. As we talked about in an earlier video, roller mines, you can convert those into friendly objects. There's so many different things that she can do, and she's a cannon in the car. She's adding her into a map and using her in a map is often really useful, and it adds a lot more gameplay options for the player, or for the mapper, in fact. Okay, and then we are into this next section with the cannon, which I think I'm going to play through. Because I enjoy it, and it's one of the better areas. But I think I'm going to pause the recording, and I'll come back and go through the next section, and let this story section play out.